Okay, so I'm in REDCap and I downloaded our data in the data exports part of the sidebar. I chose to download it in SPSS and I got these three icons, SPSS data and pathway mapper. What I did with those was I put them on my desktop and they're right here. And first I ran the pathway mapper and it's really easy and you just double click it and it runs itself. And then I opened this SPSS file. And what it was a really big window of code, super long. And it is writing our data and all the variable names in SPSS. So I ran that and then I got this. Let me save it in the drive. So I'm just going to save this like a normal file. I'm going to write over what I was doing before. I started doing this with the oopsies by accident. So what I've done is I've deleted the oopsies from this file and I've deleted the 3-month follow-up so we just have the correct people for first time survey. So we have several research questions. Right now in SPSS, we are in the data view. So these are variable names up here, and it kind of scrolls really long because we have a lot of variables. And then each row is a participant. So each column is a variable, each row is a participant. So we're in the data view, but we can also look at the variable view. And here we have variable names, if they're a string, like they're a word, or if they're numeric, which most of them are. And then the variable names are sometimes kind of hard to understand because we have to use really shorthand. So the label is a description of what the variable name is. So that's helpful as well. We have the values, which are what each field means. Like, for example, in this one 1 means married, 2 means divorced, etc. So let's go back to the data view. So we want to look at several things today: demographics, programs that people use like WIC and SNAP, food security, what foods people have in their house, grocery habits, food in the neighborhood, and eating habits. I didn't want to do addresses just because that's kind of PHI, but the rest of these we can definitely take a look at. So I'm actually going to go back to the variable view. What I think will make it easier for me is bringing up the variables I'm going to use to the front. That's just a personal preference, so I'm just going to drag and drop some of these. We want age, we want education, employment, income, and we can do this in the data view as well. Doesn't really matter. I just like to see what I'm working with front and center. That just makes it easier for me. These demo services, I'm going to move them up. And also the other thing is when we're in the coding, we'll see the labels instead of the variable names. So like have you or other members, that might be all we could see. And so that's why it's helpful to just bring all of these up in a block so it's easier to work with them. Let's see, we're going to want all of these food security questions. We are going to want all of these about food that people have in their house, not really just something that comes from the beginning. And let's see. Yeah. Food security. Grocery shopping habits. We have neighborhood questions. Eating habits. And so you can't drag and drop more than one at a time, which is nice. And that's about it. So let's go back to the data view. So
some things when we want an average, what we'll want is descriptives, and that will compute a mean and a standard deviation. On other things, we wouldn't want to average them, like for example, education level, or really a better example would be like marital status. We don't need to know the number for marital status because all of those numbers mean a different thing. If 1 means married and 2 means divorced, 1.5 wouldn't really mean anything. So on those type of variables, we'll get a frequency. And on some things, we may want a frequency and a descriptive. So let's go ahead and get some of these descriptives. Let's get age first. So I'm going to hit the top menu, analyze, descriptive statistics, and then you can see frequency or descriptives. I want descriptives because I want a mean. So I will just move this age in here. I'm just going to say okay. And here we go. The average age is 49, and we have the min and the max. So that's cool. This is in a window called the output, so I'm just going to minimize this, and I'll end up saving that. Next, let's look at employment and education. Those we want frequencies because it wouldn't make sense to average those numbers. So let's see, descriptive statistics, but this time I'm going to click frequencies. So let's see. Okay, and here we have it. Highest level of education, we have numbers, we have percentages, same thing with employment status. And so you can see instead of our variable name, they actually put our label in here. So that makes this really readable, which is really nice. Okay, now income, we are going to want the mean. So descriptives and income, okay. And I am wondering, our average income is $1,300 a month, but we have this one person who's saying they make like $6,300 a month. I would think maybe they make $6,300 a year. Let's see what happens if we take that person out, because that doesn't seem right to me. So where is it? Here it is. Okay. I am going to click on this person and filter them out for this. So let's see, data. Select cases. Let's select cases if income is less than $3,500. I think that's the most I think would be right for this population. That's probably reaching high. So let's say okay. Now it crossed out 24. Let's see if we got anybody else. Yeah, this person's saying $4,000 a month. That seems a little bit too high too. So I don't know, it could be true, but let's just see what it is without these two. That would be my best guess. Might mean you might not want to use this variable because of this. Maybe we can look back and figure out these are the real incomes, but let's just go ahead and do this again. So descriptives, income. So here we have it with those two taken out. So do with that what you will. We can sort it in some different ways if you want to, but that's what we've got for now. So let's go on to programs. Let's see how these variables are set up. So these are just yes and no. So 0 means no and 1 means yes. That's generally how most people will code their variables. So here we want percentages for each of these demo services like WIC or SNAP. So we'll go to Analyze, Descriptive, Frequencies, and let's take these out. I'm going to highlight them and do the backwards arrow. And then I'm going to get these programs and put those in and say OK. And so what do we have here? There we go. So have you or any other members of your household had WIC, yes or no? And 5% had, and 95% had it. Here we'll want to be looking at the valid percent or the frequency. Those are just different versions of the same thing. Like 3
out of 59 is 5%. So then we've got these other programs, SNAP. I'm surprised that that's not higher. And these various other programs. Nobody did the double up bucks thing at the farmer's market. Maybe that will change. So then let's do food security. So I want to see how these questions are coded. So they are often true, sometimes true, never true, don't know. So I'm going to say that we want frequencies of those. We want to know what percentage said each of these answers. So let's see, analyze descriptive statistics, frequencies. Okay. So we've got these food items. We also want frequencies for these following questions. We've got food that didn't last, we couldn't afford to eat balanced meals, cut the size of meals, eat less, hungry, and even for what store did you buy your food, do you do the grocery shopping, and probably the rest of these questions for here, the produce is high quality, etc. Did you eat fruits or vegetables as snacks? Did you have citrus fruit? Eat more than one kind of vegetable, etc. So I'm actually going to do a really, really big frequency and hopefully get the rest of these answers. So let's see if all of this looks right. Fruits and vegetables, or again, it's a valid percent. That looks right. Candy, fruit in a bowl, ice cream. Couldn't afford to eat balanced meals. Where did you get most of your food? Research, Trader Joe's, wherever you shop. Kind of cool. Then these are strongly disagree to strongly agree. I've just given you the answers to all of these. We could potentially average these and get the average score. There's a case to be made for that. Some people wouldn't want to do that because they were not numeric. They weren't like on a scale of 1 to 5. But we can do that if we really want to. So just let me know if you need that. And then here we have the yes and no for, I guess sometimes just an answer for this one too. Do you eat fruits and vegetables? Do you eat citrus fruit or citrus juice? How many do you eat? Etc. So that's about it. I'm going to send you this file and let me know what other stuff you want me to learn. Let me save it real quick. Always save your output or computer code. Being kind of slow. I don't know why that is. Okay. Produce your map, output, and then I like to put the date.